All right, hope everyone's doing well. We're looking at the NASDAQ futures here. This is the Emini. What we can see is that the market has been bullish on to the upside here, pushing to the upside. Looks like we may have this could possibly be a reversal back to the downside. We're breaking some structure below this area right here, below 20,960, and continuously making lower lows and lower highs to the downside. Now this was a pullback supply area to go short off of. But if you notice what happened to the overnight session from Friday into Sunday evening, we had this gap up in the market right here. So the market, all it did was, looks like it just reversing and coming back down to fill the gap back down to this. You can see where it did right here, back down to 20,877. 877 or 870 area. So this could be a pullback. This is an area of supply resting on the this zone right here. We'll see. I want to move down to a lower time frame chart right now, because this is what I primarily do, is mark up a higher base chart and then move down to my lower base to see if there's any opportunity to where the market could pull back inside the zone. We're looking right here, possibly around 20,938.5 to see supply. So we have a valid high probability supply zone there and a valid high probability supply zone off the 120 and 24 range. So if the market pulls back, gives some kind of rejection, I'll look to enter this trade going short. Again, we're scalping the NASDAQ or futures. It doesn't matter if you're trading the micros or the full-on E-minis. They kind of look the same on both charts. But anyways, this is how I do it each and every day. So, I just want to kind of make one of these videos. Haven't done these in a while, to where I'm actually doing a live recorded trading session here. And it is, my time is roughly almost 10:30. So it would primarily be almost my cutoff time, stopping. But I really haven't seen so far in the market this morning any potential great setups. I did have this area here, just a man zone marked up, but it kind of blew right through it, so it didn't enter the trade. So, and then I started noticing that we got a lot of volatility step into the market. Now, there was a push up into the market this morning with lots of volume, where the market came in shortly before the opening. Someone here and some volume right here. But then we got a lot of volume, sell volume to the downside right here. So, but now we're pulling back. Again, this is a valid supply area here. We're breaking some structure coming to the downside here. So interested in seeing what will take place when the market taps this zone. Let's go ahead and move down to a lower base chart here and just kind of wait it out. Now, one thing I'm looking at this trade setup here, need to be careful because there is liquidity resting above this area where the supply is resting up. So the market may want to try to come up there and test that area. So we have to be very careful here. Looking at the lower time frame chart, I mean, you can see on the higher time frame, we're looks bullish, right? We have a breaking structure coming back down to the downside, but we just have to be very mindful that we could start breaking back to the upside. So we really haven't got a full tap into that zone yet. And kind of blow it up a little bit. You can see there's a very small gap there, maybe a couple ticks there, but it looks like we may be testing that area again. I'm paying close attention to what may take place above this area here, because that is liquidity resting right there. And I mean, there are some gaps that need to be filled back to the upside. So they could take out this area of liquidity to the upside here, and then want to keep pushing to the upside. But again, we'll see what happens here. Let's see. This is okay. Now there's off of the 24 range. This is a supply area. I mean, demand area resting out here, directly off. But we're kind of could be trying to trade against the grain in a sense, against the higher base chart, but we'll see. I mean, this could be a quick little scalp directly off the 24 range. I'll see what it does if it comes down to it. If not, I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen, if it's going to kind of want to try to push lower at this point or higher. So this could be a quick. Let's see what happens here. Just waiting it out to see what the market's going to do here. I'm looking at 24 right now. This is a higher time frame supply zone, again on the 120. So just all depends on what they're going to do. Yeah, they're kind of moving sideways right now. On the 24 range, you can see that it looks like we're bearish to the downside. Okay, and then we got a little pop to the upside here, breaking some structure. So kind of in a range, in a wedge right now, moving sideways in this area. Is a low, there's a high right here, kind of moving sideways. Took out a bit of structure here on the 24, coming down. But again, the higher base chart, it trumps all, so we need to really pay close attention to what's trying to unfold off the higher base chart. Okay, so I'm in a trade going to the upside, going long. I'm aiming for it to go up there and possibly grab that area of liquidity that I just showed you off the higher base chart. But I'm gonna scalp this right now back to the upside here. As you can see, we kind of, on the lower base chart, we're breaking structure to the upside. Now, I'm not saying it can't come back and test, lower areas here on the lower base chart, like right here, and possibly even right here. So that's why I have my stop resting up here, below here at 20,904, or I'm gonna move it up to 905. So I may close out early here if it doesn't want to go up there and run this high right here, because I'm up 12 points right now. Come on, baby, go to the upside. It could pull back now before pushing higher. I know that for sure. And looking at the higher base chart. Okay, come on. It's kind of playing around. This is the area right here I'm looking for it to go up to. So come on. It was up 14, almost 15 points right there. Push up. I may take out here and grab, take what I can get and take it. And I just get it. Okay, there we go. 14. Okay, come on. There we go. All right. All right. Order filled right there. Moving to the upside. I think it's going to come up here and test this area right here where this area of liquidity is on the higher base chart, the 120. So all this was I was looking at the lower base charts, noticing that we were not saying ultimately that we were changing direction to the upside, but I'm saying, if you look to see that we were bullish already, we did break a bit of structure coming back down to the downside. But again, like I said, I'm noticing that there's liquidity resting right here. And we have this area to really fill back up to this area of supply resting up here. This is a major high resting here. So I'm looking down my lower base chart and noticing that we have, on the 24 range where the market is breaking structure to the upside, high, higher, low, high, pulling back, making new highs. So we're moving to the upside in a channel that you should be able to see, like right here to the upside, and it's breaking structure as it moves higher to the upside, making higher highs and higher lows. So you have to be able to see things like that. So I waited after I saw this area structure being broken to the upside here. So it took out on the move to the upside, pushed up, pulled back, it broke structure right here, broke structure here, broke structure here, pulled back, broke structure right here, came back, broke more structure right here. But I took the pullback right here in this area here, just with the expectation that the market was going to push higher. Now it could have came down here and tested. Okay, now this is low probability zone 2. It could have came back down here and tested this low probability zone way back here. But we kept pushing to the upside, and it kept breaking structure higher. So I waited for a pullback and to take the trade going higher. Now, I'm not 100% sure. Nobody knows what the market's going to actually do. But when I see stuff like this where the market where there's liquidity resting above, more than likely they're probably going to try to test that, or at least test these highs here, run them, wick them out, whatever the case is, and stop these sellers out right here. And if they do something like this right here to where, where they take out, oops, sorry about that. Let's grab this arrow line. Where they take out these highs right here, so they run to the upside, they create an area of, say, demand, all right? Then that tells me that, okay, we're still bullish to the upside here, okay? Even though we broke a bit of structure here, we're breaking structure to the upside now, back to the upside. If we take out, run these highs right here, create a demand zone, come back, I'd be interested in going long. So we'll see what takes place, let's see if they're going to break this area or not. All right, so as you can see now, the market is pulled back. What it did was come back down, fill the gaps back down to the downside. So that's the way the market moves. We're just trying to wait it out and see if it's going to continue running higher now, and possibly, come back up here, maybe take this area of liquidity out, or at least maybe swipe it and continue pushing lower. But the aim of what it was trying to accomplish into the morning session after, the opening bell at 9:30 was to come back down, and it definitely closed that gap in from the in between the close of Friday and the opening session overnight. So it's a kind of a wait out period now. You can see it kind of chopping, moving sideways, but not sure if it's going to, break more structure to the downside, and that way you can look for pullback to continue taking a short, moving back lower. And you know, possibly filling in some areas down to the downside. So we'll wait and see. And anyone that took this, I didn't, because I had already taken a trade. Anyone that took this right here, this is the 120 range supply zone. If you took this trade here, then this was a good setup. There's your inside zone off the 24 range, zone within a zone strategy that we talk about. And, you know, wait for the break and close of the candle, give it a rejection, go lower. And that's what it did. It came down and it just grabbed liquidity on its way down, grabbed liquidity here, you know, grab liquidity right here, and it came down and filled these gaps or these zones or these gaps back to the downside. So if you caught this trade coming down, then you did extremely well back to the downside. All right, so continuing looking at the market's kind of moving sideways. I did talk about this area of liquidity resting above there. It does appear that it's trying to break maybe possibly higher. You know, we don't know 100%, but there is liquidity resting here. There is liquidity resting at these lows as well. Prior to that, you know, the market was bullish back to the upside. You can see on the higher base chart here, high, higher low, high, higher low, making higher highs. These are areas, these are nice swings to the upside here. This is a major high resting up here. So maybe we're going to break. You can see we're still trying to push higher, break this area here, and then maybe take this major high out back to the upside. I'd be interested in seeing if it breaks and closes above this area of liquidity, which is, you know, an area of structure that it'll break it to the upside, because we would have made a high, higher low, break a structure higher, pull back. I showed an example in that diagram earlier, you know, potentially take a long entry going back to the upside here. But again, you know, we have to break this major high up here if we want to continue breaking higher or not. All right, and as I mentioned earlier, there we go. We just broke that area, took out that area of liquidity resting there. So, you know, just slightly with that wick of that bullish candle there. But that's all I want to share with you guys today. Just looking at price action, looking at structure of the market, like like I always talk about in the videos here. If you're interested in learning or understanding more about the strategy, please spend some time watching the video content. If you really want to dig deep and you really want to get the trade breakdowns and understanding trade by trade by trade on these setups that I take, surrounding and talking about the strategy in more detail, you might want to become a elite member. The link to become an elite member is right down in the description portion of the video. It is a become an elite member. Click on that. 2 tiers will pop up. Make sure to choose the second one for $6.99. That's going to give you direct access to, I mean, a ton of trade breakdown videos where I walk you through the strategy step by step, talking about these trade setups. These are trades that I've taken and posted over in the Discord, so that you can understand and seeing, you know, in real time when I'm making these trade entries, even though they're recorded, setups and trades I take, but I'm walking you in detail in reference to the trades themselves, talking about stop loss placement, where to place your target, your profit target areas, talking about structure, what it was I was looking at prior to me taking that actual trade or those trades. Okay, there's a whole lot of those videos content. If you spend time watching them, you probably will have an aha moment and say, okay, I understand this about the multi-chart confluence, looking for, you know, higher base, lower base, you know, zones and setups. I talk about all that, even the gap back at the zone. What's a high probability versus a low probability setup? So for $7 a month, I mean, it's a very, very inexpensive fee that you could pay to really get your, you know, foot in the right direction and start making some profit in these markets trading the futures. Okay. So again, the link is down in the description portion of the video. If you want to become a Discord member, the link is down in the description portion of the video as well. Outside of that, if you're not a current subscriber, please take the time to go ahead and sub by clicking on the subscribe button right now. Make sure to turn your post notifications on by clicking that bell. And last but not least, if you found value in today's video content, please do me the biggest favor. Right now, go ahead and click on that thumbs up button. Leave a like here on the video. I appreciate everyone. Take care, trade safe, and see you in the next one.